Hello everyone, I'm back again with another Vinyl Finds video. This one goes back to my recent trip to the old radio station here in my town. These are the finds that I had where I actually knew who the bands were. These are not blind finds. So what did I pick up? Well, we'll see ya in just a minute. Hello everyone, Daryl the Northern Vinyl Guy coming at you with a Vinyl Finds video. As I mentioned in my intro, this video is the finds of the bands and musicians that I'm quite familiar with, or at least I'm familiar with their music. And so what did I find? Well, let's check it out. But before I do, if you are new to my channel, please give me a thumbs up. Leave a comment down in the section below, and of course, do subscribe to my channel by clicking that ding subscribe button. If you are a regular viewer to my channel, I appreciate your support, and I hope that you enjoy this video and these finds once again. I wouldn't say that I got some steals of deals, but there are some albums in here that I've definitely been looking for, and I was excited to find these. They seem to be in decent condition. There's a couple that I'm going to mention that I'm a little bit concerned. There's a little bit of a wobbly warp. I'm going to try to fix them up, and I hope that it's successful because they are great albums. So here we go. First vinyl find from that station is a Canadian musician out of the province of Quebec. I think he's out of Montreal. Love Corey Hart. This album here, I have two of his other albums. This album here, been looking for. This is the one with I Am By Your Side and Can't Help Falling in Love. Of course, the Elvis Presley cover. The vinyl is good. The wax on this is good. A little bit of water damage on the cover. However, you can't go wrong. This was free. What's it called? Fields of Fire. Corey Hart. All right, up next, I already have a copy of this. However, the copy that I have is a different pressing, and I always like Elton John. This is his greatest hits album. If you know it, you know it. I remember my dad had this one as a kid. It's got Your Song, it's got Crocodile Rock, it's got Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me, Rocket Man. You name it, it's all on there. You know it, you know it. Elton John, greatest hits. All right. I did have a copy of this, but it was in super rough shape, this next one. Glad I got this one. In fact, it was in such rough shape, the other copy, that I got rid of the vinyl. I kept the vinyl, and I kept the album cover itself, and I used it as one of my alphabetizers for my collection. So, Huey Lewis and the News Sports album. This is a classic. The Heart of Rock and Roll, Heart and Soul, I Want a New Drug. If this is it, it's all on here. Good pickup. Huey Lewis and the News. All right, I'm not too familiar with this album, but I'm definitely familiar with the band. The one song that I am familiar with is The Wizard. This is Uriah Heep. Of course, 1960s and 70s rock, metal type music. This is a threefold, I think it is. Definitely a gatefold, which folds into a threefold with the lyrics on it. So very cool. And the vinyl is in probably G plus to VG condition, maybe a little better than VG. But regardless, you can't go wrong with Wizards, Uriah Heep. All right, next one, I have a copy of their other album, which has their main hit, She's a Beauty, but I did find another album by The Tubes, The Completion Backward Principle. I don't know any songs on it, but of course, you know, This is 80s rock, new wave stuff at its finest, the Tubes. Next band, 1970s rock music. We've got America and America's Greatest Hits. Once again, a little bit of water damage here, but the vinyl itself is in pretty good shape. Horse with No Name, Sandman, Ventura Highway, Muskrat Love, Lonely People, Sister Golden Hair. It's all on here. And in fact, to the point where I think this might be the only America that I need as their greatest hits. So, very cool. Familiar with that cover. Wonderful stuff. All right, this next one's got a bit of an edge warp. I was a little bit bummed out about this. However, if I can fix it, it's going to be just fine. Actually, it's not an edge warp. It's kind of one of those wobbly warps. But it is Queen's jazz album. I did test it on my turntable. It does play fine, but I'd like to try to fix the warp a little bit. If you know it, you know it. It's got, let's see, Don't Stop Me Now. It has Fat Bottom Girl, Bicycle Race, Jealousy, and of course the lead-off track, Mustafa, which is, I think it's hilarious. Jazz, Queen. If you like Queen, you like that. All right, next one. This one is for Rob, my buddy and Wednesday night host at Northern Revolutions. He loves the band, one of his favorite bands of all time, if not his favorite. But there was a musician in the band, Levon Helm, and I found this. It has a little bit of a kind of a gold stamp here on the front cover, and this is his American Sun album. Not too familiar with the music, but I thought that it was worth a shot. Yeah, Levon Helm from the band. Right, Gladys Knight and the Pips. A little bit of R&B soul from the 60s and 70s. I don't think there's anything too famous on this particular album. This is the one and only Gladys Knight and the Pips. Thought I'd take a shot at that. Kind of a blind pick there, I guess, but I'm familiar with the band. All right, this next one is a 2-disc compilation of Philadelphia classics. We have Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes, the OJs, the 3 Degrees Intruders, MFSB, all on one compilation. Really cool. I like the old school 1930s car there, and then the back. So that's a pretty cool compilation, and it's in decent shape. So can't go wrong with that. All right, I showed these next two on, I think it was it was our ladies episode of Wednesday night Northern Revolutions a couple weeks ago. Of course, Chrissy Hine and the Pretenders. Got right there. And this is the one that has a Brass in Pocket on it. Probably the most popular song from there. But yeah, Chrissy Hine and the Pretenders. I showed her on that episode a couple of weeks ago. Northern Revolution's channel. And I also showed Blondie and Auto American. This one here has, I think it's, yes, The Tide is High and Rapture is on this one. It needs a good cleaning, so I got to be careful with this one because it's all dusty and dirty. However, classic album, Auto American, by Blondie. All right, I showed this one the other day on What the Gyms Animal Contest. Rick Springfield, of course, What the Gym. He loves dogs. That's his favorite animal, and this is the Success Hasn't Spoiled Me Yet. And of course, this one has the Don't Talk to Strangers song on it. So classic. And of course, Rick Springfield has his own segment on Sirius Radio, doing some 80s music quite often on there. All right, next. And of course, for me, most popular song on the day of my birth, 1979, May 12th, Peaches and Herb and their song Reunited. This one does have an edge warp that I got to fix, though it doesn't affect Reunited. But it's a pretty cool album that I want to try to get into. I know it's not for everyone, but a little bit of soul, R&B, funk type music. Peaches and Herb. All right, back to some Canadian content. After the Gold Rush, Neil Young. Glad to pick this one up. I'm not the hugest Neil Young fan. However, I respect his music, his talent, and this one has Southern Man on it. And of course, After the Gold Rush title track. So I think this is yes, it is a gatefold. Of course, there's Neil and his guitar on the infold. All right, I have the second movie soundtrack to this. I don't have the first part of the movie soundtrack until now. Miami Vice, #1 soundtrack. This one here has, of course, the original Miami Vice instrumental, You Belong to the City, Glenn Frey, In the Air Tonight by Phil Collins, and a few other tracks. So happy to get that one, and it's in really good condition. All right, this does not have I Will Survive. However, Gloria Gaynor and some disco music. We've got I Have a Night. So if you like Gloria Gaynor and the disco, let me know what you think of this album. It was worth a shot. Once again, these are all free, so I couldn't pass it up. Next one, some funk type music. If you are familiar with the band Cameo, you will know the song Word Up, which unfortunately is not on here. Wish it was, because that is a classic song. But it doesn't have Word Up. But it does have 3 tracks on side A: Energy, I Just Want to Be, and Find My Way. And of course, side 2 has Macho, The Rock, Sparkle, and New York. So, Cameo. All right, same thing with this next band. I'm definitely familiar with them. Soul, funk, R&B type stuff. Better known for their song Shining Star, and that is the Manhattans. This is another album, but it doesn't have that classic track. However, worth a shot, and I hope it sounds great. Okay, Roxy Music, familiar with their stuff. Not sure what I think of Roxy Music. However, Manifesto looked like a cool party on the cover, and I was like, I can't pass up a party album. I'm hoping it is a party to listen to, so willing to check that one out. Manifesto. Love Me Some Fats Domino. Was hoping that it would have Blueberry Hill on it. It does not have Blueberry Hill, unfortunately. However, this is an original press. Old school 1950s, early 60s music. So, Fats Domino, cool stuff. All right, a very famous Canadian band. The Guess Who. And their album Canned Wheat, featuring the songs Laughing. And this also has Undone. It also has No Time. This is a classic album by a great Canadian band, Canned Wheat. All right. I am only familiar with this next band by name. I know that they're a pretty rockin' band, rock and roll, 1970s, Wishbone Ash. So not 100% sure what they sound like, just familiar by name, so I thought I would pick this up by chance. All right, we've got 3 more albums to go here before we call it a video. Next, we've got some Canadian content, one of my other favorite Canadian bands, and that is Honeymoon Suite and their album Racing After Midnight. This one has Looking Out for #1 on it. It also has Love Changes Everything. Great song. This one's one of their later ones, 1988. So one of their later ones with probably some of their last main hits. We have a compilation on TV Records. This one's called Cutting Loose. Once again, can't go wrong with that cover. And of course, there she is, facing the highway on the other end of the spectrum. And what's on here? Well, we've got some Samantha Sang, we've got the 3 Degrees, we've got Bachman Turner Overdrive, Casey and the Sunshine Band, Rod Stewart, Lighthouse, David Soul, and more. So Cutting Loose compilation album on TV Records. And to close this all off, heard of this band. They're known for their hit song Black Betty, but Portrait of the Artist as a Younger Ram, which is a very cool cover with a cool ram on it. Does not have Black Betty, but I'm sure that this is some rockin' stuff. Look at that band. Just look at them. Muscle men with the bandana. They look like that early 1980s, late 1970s rockin' stuff. So, Ram Jam. There we go. My recent vinyl finds from the radio station, the bands that I was familiar with their names and some of the songs on these albums. So on my next video, I'm going to be featuring my blind picks. So the ones that I had never heard the names of these musicians, not familiar with them, and maybe you will be. So let me know down in the comments below, what did you think of these free pickups from my last haul at that radio station? And do you have any comments, thoughts on especially bands like Wishbone Ash and the Uriah Heep and stuff like that? I'm all into the rock and roll 1970s. What is your thoughts and advice on those particular albums? Until next time, take care, everyone. There's lots going on in the world right now, and I hope to see you next time. Subscribe. Stay tuned. Next time.